It's the Sergio Show!
Hey, this is Sergio Dominguez again with Season 6 commentary of the Sergio Show. So yeah, I worked on this back in early 2012, and what I said in the previous commentary, after realizing what the show could be after Season 5, I decided to make 50 more episodes in a fraction of the time the first 50 episodes were made. The first 50 episodes were made within a little more than 3 years, while the other 50 episodes, were made in like less than 2 years, like a year and a half or so. That was my goal, to make the same amount of episodes. Since Season 4 and Season 5 were both shows that were being figured out, but also quick production-wise, I can make these episodes a lot quicker, more efficiently, and just make them quicker and show them to everybody easier and more efficient. Because one of the biggest problems I face, and a lot of people face when it comes to making internet cartoon videos, it's how long will it take? How long within each gap of every episode? Is it worth it once you're done uploading? You know, that was an interesting question that I ended up figuring out the hard way. Back in Season 1, between episodes 3 and 4 took so long that when I uploaded episode 4, the views were just very small. And it was a long, long road to getting the show back on track when it comes to getting fans again. So that was tough. That was something I had to rebuild for a couple of years, but I learned how to make episodes efficiently at the time, because all I had to do was 10 episodes, a 10-episode season. 5 of them could be review videos, and 5 could be story arc episodes. Review videos were quick. The review videos were quick, but the story arc, concept episodes, they had to be, a little bit more evaluated, a little bit with more detail, more time. But time can be made for those, since it's quick to do the other episodes. And even then, I had to work on the story arc, more dynamic episodes quicker. That was also the technique, to just make them quick as possible, efficiently as possible, and see if people liked it or not. The turnaround time for the episodes need to be quick. And while a season was done and ready to be uploaded and be released, during the season's release time, I'm making another season at the same time. So while Season 6 was, finished and being uploaded week by week, which was, like 2 months and a half, I was making another season at the time, Season 7, while I was just uploading Season 6. And that was a good pattern. It was nice and efficient. Once the season was done, no one had to wait long on the next season, and also people didn't have to wait long gaps of time within episodes. Once an episode's uploaded, the next one's coming up the following week. A lot of people online have, an episode ready daily, weekly, some occasions bi-monthly or monthly. But it was hard to do an animation online, because animation does take a long time, even if it's by yourself. With the tools you have, it takes a long time. You have to just work really quick or use, animation techniques to make it quicker. So that's what I ended up doing for the series, and what I did. It made the show more solid with a nice schedule to upload these videos, and also giving them what kind of episode in order. So that's what happened to the series. It did have a good, upload release and seasonal release. And 2012, the production for Season 5 Season 5 was finished in 2011. By 2012, by the beginning of 2012, I was like, okay, I'm going to make these episodes. I have every season lined up, 10 episodes each, with an idea for every episode, and just work on them. So I wasn't worried about what's going to be the next episode. I wasn't worried about what's going to be next season, because the ideas were done and they were organized. So I didn't have to get frustrated with that. Okay, now let me get to this episode, because 51 was a simple, let's replace a video with a review episode with a simple episode. But this one is a story arc episode, or a character episode. In this case, my uncle. Yes, that was Uncle Balaco. He's based on a real uncle of mine. I drew him once, and because he looked and acted like a real-life cartoon. He's a maniac. So So that was the idea for this character, and I liked the character, and I voiced him, even though my uncle could have. But I thought it was fun because I like the voice, and I like impersonating the voice. Yeah, when he do the voice, he talks just like that. I made him very bonkers of a character because I wanted more like insane cartoon characters, and I want them based on family members. That's been a recurring theme, based on family and friends. So that's where my uncle came in. I remember I drew him for the first time. It was very good. The one thing I had to change from original drawing to the final design was ultimately the shirt. The shirt was too similar to another cartoon, so I ended up changing it with the flag, Argentinian flag. I like how he felt he broke a bone, but he's like, that was good. I had good jokes with this character because he is like a classic cartoon character from the 40s and 30s, really nutball cartoons. And those are always fun to write and create jokes and stories out of because really a Looney Tune. And I gave him backstory that he's insane. Oh, originally that cage was a picture of a cage, but copyright reasons I had to change it. I had to quickly draw a cage over that. I think I had to go back to the original files. I had original files for this. All of them I fixed. So this character had 3 episodes, and after that I'd let him go, but he had occasionally cameos because I liked the character, but I didn't want to let him go. But I liked how he looked. I remember before animating this episode, I showed my family the design and the character before animation, and it came true. My uncle even saw it and thought it was hilarious. Probably. Yeah. I made him such an impossible nutball of a character. I really enjoyed that character. He's one of my favorites. And he's a real... I love the cards. He's like really mad. Oh, it's based on a classic cartoon thing. It's also a little bit of a parody. You do have this crazy nutball cartoon character that you've seen a couple times before, but he's based on a family member. And top it all off, he's an uncle, so insanity always ensues when you have those ideas put together. Yes, him with his bloodshot eyes. And his tongue is always sticking out. I love the design. And it's me trying to catch him. I liked how messed up the hair is. He always has messy hair. It gave him like 2 more episodes, and they were fun episodes. I rigged him weirdly though. He's like his pants don't move. His legs move, but the pants and his legs don't move. I gotta fix that later. But I did like also voicing the character. I'm looking really good. Good. You eat and eat. It's just gibberish. Gibberish with hidden English Spanish words in them. Oh, what a nutcase. Hilarious.
You see, Uncle Polaco, as crazy and dumb as you are, you're crazy.
But it was also a dumb moment where I ended up getting boxed, trapped in the box, even though it was just a box I couldn't get out, and it was just an excuse to give my uncle some redemption and show off that he's nice. Even though he is a loony, outrageous, crazy caricature. Caricature.
What am I gonna do? This has no holes in this box.
There's a bar just in his face.
I'm gonna die. What am I gonna do?
And he's just sliding across. I could have sworn it was not sliding across. That made sense at the time. I was still animation-wise still figuring things out, like layers and just moving things properly with weight. Like that other half of the box just disappeared. It just like film in like 2 frames. And the way he just like opened the box, there was needed better poses and more weight.
Huh. Sorry.
Yeah.
It's okay, Tati. Hey, guess what? What?
I hope I don't get any trouble with that, but it's based on a cartoon you might know. But he is wacky, and I'm glad he can just appear and disappear. The other 2 ways is hilarious. Fun episode to make, and the other 2 episodes that I'm going to deal with my uncle is hilarious. Yeah, I did make an animated short about him real quick. That was fun. It's fun to make with this character. But I only get him a couple because that's it for now, and I wanted to make more characters. But I love the character in the series.
Sergio Studios.
All right, here we are, episode 53, and it is talking about cartoon shirts. Originally a review episode, and it was another person's animated work on the internet, animated of course, but taken out. Had to repurpose it. What do I repurpose with all these clips? Well, I talk about something else I like, and what I like is cartoon t-shirts. I said all that real fast. Shouldn't have. Guess how else I'm going to fill this in? Yeah, the body part was out of frame for a second. Cartoon t-shirts. I had to put in those new graphics and then reuse the clips too at the same time. But it worked. It worked for what it needed to be. Yeah, I like shirts, so it's obvious I like t-shirts, but specifically, of course, t-shirts. I had to draw so many different kinds of t-shirts. I love it with cartoons on them. I got a ton, but you know, a lot of people like those kind of t-shirts with cartoons and their favorite movies, all that beautiful magical stuff, and I enjoy them too. Yeah, you're probably listening throughout the commentary, if you are, how I make mistakes and fumble, but that's when I record these voice recordings, I do record them and I make so many mistakes and I have to cut them. But this is obviously, I'm trying to make this all in one take with the best sound possible. If you hear noises, I apologize. Those noises are not for you. Like drinking water and flipping pages and room noise and all that magical stuff. But this is what I'm just dealing with because I just want to finally just talk about each episode in the season as much as I want to, be real personal about how I made each season. But yeah, I was on a roll. Well, I was on a roll by 7 to 8. Fun episode, fun series. Like the series is starting to come to finally becoming itself with what characters it has. Even then, I was introducing characters and concepts, but it worked. It was good. Yeah, that's the thing with review episodes. You get to make simple animation poses like him just tilting. So how do you do that when they talk?
This is it for this
How does it work?
of the Sergio Show. I'm Sergio Dominguez saying, have an animated day.
That was episode 53, a serviceable episode. Served its purpose, like a lot of the clip review replacement episodes.
Sergio Studios.
Alright, episode 54. Alright, episode 54 was one of those episodes where I wanted... It was a story episode, not a clip review episode, so obviously it would be, you know, having more drawings and more locations, but in this one I wanted to be one of those cheap episodes, because I still wanted to get through the season and the series efficiently, so I was like, okay, I'll do another, you know, budget bottle cutback episode. So what can I do that can work as a cartoon? And let's see if I can imply some animation satire. What's a classic cartoon thing that can be done that I can also do cheaply? And I remember the recurring like thing in cartoons, especially classic cartoons, it's whenever there's lights out and you can only see the eyes. Like everything's black except the eyes. The eyes are almost like flashlights and you can tell the expression of the characters. So for the episode, what if like you ran out of money for electricity? So throughout the episode is just eyes. And in my case, that's a good idea and pretty beneficial idea because I don't have to focus on the mouth animation, on the physical animation. All I had to do is just animate these eyes going through the dark. And I think the background was just black, of course, obviously, but I think I set it differently in Toon Boom. But it was a nice, efficient, clean-cut episode. I remember I was like finishing this like crazy because I think I did this in a matter of days.
Darn it. Darn couch. I bumped
Yep.
into it.
The sound effects, some of them had to be replaced later on in the re-edited version. But it's funny to see him move up and down when he doesn't even do that in the show. Sometimes he slides down. Later on, he moves up and down to make the walking more believable, make it look more like walking. But I also want to make a recurring joke that the character always gets hurt. He gets hurt a lot of times. Very comical. So a lot of thud noises. Oh, that was a nice effect. Yeah, the flashlight. I think I used like a mapping or something. I used a technique to make this work. Yeah, so there's a brief moment of animation. And oh yeah, I wanted to use padding. I was into padding and filler. I hope you didn't know what that cartoon was. You probably do know. But nice filler of shadow puppets. I didn't remember doing that, but I guess I did. But yeah, when you have it in the dark and a flashlight, I might as well do shadow puppets. A nice little montage of shadow puppets. I sped it up because it was like too filler, too padding. So I just sped it up. Also, this was a montage because that's also a cliche of what kind of cartoon eyes happen. You do get cliche cartoon eyes of shapes and designs.
Well, that was something. Okay.
So it does have some moments, some fun poking fun of cartoon cliches kind of moments.
You know what? You've been tortured long enough. Either that or you just clicked to another page just as soon as you saw this episode start. So to spare you, I'm going to clumsily fall off the stairs. It's the least I can do.
So you can see I was, in my shame when it came to being in the dark and giving you just nothing but filler. So I will end up hurting myself. But even then, I take the time to hurt myself before then.
Oh, God. That was the wall. On my face. Oh, my head hurts.
Yeah, I think this episode had some improv. I think it was written, but I did some improv because it was just me getting comically hurt.
Here are the stairs. Okay. All right, wish me luck.
Now this is a real moment. We all were in the dark. We tried to find the stairs or something, and we end up bumping into things. So obviously this is going to happen if everything's lights out. But it's funny to see these kind of movements and believe that he's actually making these movements. But really, it's just eyes floating around. But I still wanted to make the believable that it really is like his body movement, even though it's just eyes.
Here it is. These are the stairs. Okay. 3 times
So to do that, everything had to be the right angle, how he would bend.
No, that was another wall. Oh, my head.
But it is a pretty unique, creative episode, and a good, nice little cartoon satire. I think that cough was real. The cough was real.
Okay. Here, I moved a little bit more. This is either the stairs again or another wall again. Okay. Either way, I'm just gonna go for it. All right, here I go. Whoa. Oh, God darn it. These are the stairs. Oh, my God. It hurts so much.
I think my performance got better because, it felt real. It felt like it hurt. I remember when I was animating this, there was a part where I wanted to zoom out. And I wondered how far the software Toon Boom can zoom out as far as it can go.
I think I reached the bottom.
But there was a point where it told me to just stop. Like, it hit a dead end. Like, I wanted to, keep falling, but there's only so much space the software can give me. So I think I reused something, or maybe I just moved it a little or cut to something.
Okay.
But I wanted to make it him falling down the stairs longer than it should be.
Because I just couldn't make the rest of
But the falling downstairs bit was good. It was just me making thud sounds with my arm while recording.
All I can say is that's all for this episode of
Good episode.
The
Actually,
Sergio
really fun,
Show.
simple, not bad episode.
Thanks for putting up with all this.
Fun little cartoon concept
Just
with
went to another
satire. It's
video
good.
as soon as this video
Pretty
started, whatever. This is Sergio Dominguez, or whatever's left of me, saying have an animated day. Oh, dear.
Yeah, this episode was done pretty quick, maybe in a couple of days, but I liked how it came out. With its simplicity, with its budget cutbacks, and it's still genuinely entertaining. Has some cartoon satire, has some good jokes on me. Yeah, really, literally jokes on me. I got hurt a lot. Comically. So, well done episode.
Sergio Studios. Please turn off your cell
All
phones
right.
and enjoy our special
This is
presentation.
another episode, which is technical difficulties. Yes, another technical difficulties episode. But I gotta make sure it was the last because I didn't want this to be a reoccurring. Reoccurring. Just a good 3. Lucky number 3.
Welcome
You know,
to
the
my
comedy
animated
rule of
masterpiece,
3, so
The Sergio Show.
that worked.
I'm Sergio Dominguez.
Just a mere
and let's take a look
of
at
technical difficulties. This one I wanted to make it a little bit more intense since I wanted to be a finale. Because I only wanted to be the episode for that era of the show. I didn't want to bring it back. Maybe someday I'll reference it. Maybe I can do a nod to it in the future, but what more can you do with technical difficulties unless you do that one joke where you're like, I'm going to swear, say something controversial, and, oops, technical difficulties graphic. I think, all these effects were done in the editing software that I had. I think I changed the color and the texture. I think it was that, or I went to photo editing software. Yep. This one had like simple editing. Like the first one probably was better just because of how I added more effects and editing. Nice chopping cuts and stuff. Yep, I'm rummaging through things. I think I'm making some noises. I think I used music. Let's see. Yep. Yeah, I think I altered it to make it sound more spooky and more like something's gone technically wrong. You need to sound like it was believably technically wrong, even if you are seeing just a graphic, just like a still image. Yeah, but I think I was just shuffling pencils and pens with this one. It's funny to believe that I'm just like trying to fix this behind the scenes. And I turn off and turn it back on, don't I? Ooh, a long pause. A long black pause.
And just like that, that's all for this episode of the Sergio Show.
I guess it was
And if
back to
this
normal.
episode ever had an ending,
I finally fixed it once and for all.
This is Sergio Dominguez saying, "Have an animated day."
Yep, it was like the most simplest, weakest one out of 3, but it was like supposed to be a finale and it's supposed to sound more dramatic than what you just saw or heard. So, yeah, it's okay. Sufficient. And we're gonna move on to the next episode.
Sergio Studios.
Alright, episode 56. This one I like the original version of this episode because the original version of the episode was about how it would make a giant empanada. It's this food, Argentinian food that I grew up with and I ate so much. It was so yummy. But I made it also as an internet parody. So I took 2 things I like, empanada and this one internet series, and tried to put them together. And that was the episode. And it was a unique, comical, dramatic episode. But it was funny. A lot of good jokes. A lot of good jokes. A lot of cartoon character references. It was funny. Maybe the ending was a little bit corny and weirdly done, but I liked the episode. I liked the original cut of the episode. But so many things, because of the whole copyright reasons thing, and I realized this episode has so many things I have to fix that ultimately I can't really have the time to fix it because there's too many things I had to rewrite and re-edit. I was like, no, there's no way I can really edit and anything out. It's nothing about it will make sense. There are too many crucial things if you know the pre-existing property. So the episode ultimately got scrapped, and I had to treat the episode like a review episode. And instead of Sergio and his friends making a giant empanada, he just talks about empanadas in this episode, and I had to use clips of other episodes within season 6, which that's already too much. So that's how the episode had to come out. But it still works because I love this food empanadas very much. Someday maybe I'll bring that concept back in a future episode of the show, but it has to be unique and it cannot be based on anything, but or actually copied, parodied idea. But it could work. Bring, but I don't know. I don't know if I should reuse old episodes to make new episodes. It might happen if the series keeps going. It probably will. So we'll see. Let me know in the comments down below. Because something like that might happen. But I love empanadas. Ham and cheese is so good. Oh, there's one with spinach, ham, and cheese. That's the best with some onions. Let me know in the comments down below if you had tried that. I don't know if I ever said that in an episode. Well, that was the episode. It was simple. It was heavily compromised. But it was the original version of it was actually pretty fun and really good, and it had its own fan base, and it had some views. It was good, but it had to be taken down at the time. Oh well, on to the next episode. Empanadas. Alright, next episode. It is another review clip episode about a well-known little cartoon shorts. But I had to change it to a different kind of concept, a different kind of something animation related. So I talk about voice acting, voice actors. So that's how it is. So, voice acting, I wanted to make an episode in the future about it, but I decided to just have a monologue episode about it. And later on in the series, I did make a song parody music video about voice acting that unfortunately got cut, copyright reasons, and never heard from again. But it was fun for its time. Get this voice. Oh, my head blew up when I found out about this when I was young. But it was such a beautiful discovery. But we're using clips. I think I had to use, drawings of microphones or something. But a lot of things I talk about voice acting is something, actual professional voice actors would talk about. It's not just a funny voice. It's about acting. And it's about having a very versatile performance and voice to really get into the business. But that's obvious. It's been obvious if you listen to interviews and podcasts about voice actors and talking from other voice actors. It happens. Yeah, this one had a lot of reusable clips, reusable old footage. Let's face it, as ridiculous as your voice is, can you do more than just that? Because if it sounds like this, yeah, it kind of sounds funny, but... The poses are simple in this animation, obviously moving arms and going da-da-da-da. The doctor gave me the results, and I did trip on my knee. And the director tells you to say it dramatically, and you can only say one tone because you didn't act it. All this makes sense. The doctors gave me the results, and I did trip on my knee. No, we need to say more dramatically. Yeah, you cut to me in different places. Like a lot of classic internet videos used to be like that. Still, to this day, you cut to them in different poses in the same place. Yeah, that happens. And I do love that pose where I'm just like leaning to the side, hand on the head, and another hand just like waving about. That was always one of my favorites. One of my favorites when it comes to this.
Comical voice, but it was executed with drama, with kind of accurate script reading. But ultimately, that's the point of voice acting.
Yeah, some of them are too repetitive. The reuse of animation.
To really sell in the voice, and from there, we'll sell in the animation.
But I didn't want to throw the animation away, so here it is.
Along with the voice actors, make animation a great
Hmm.
form.
I really don't have enough drawings. Did I add any drawings? I think it really was just editing and text on the screen.
They're all, gosh darn, I wish them all happiness and the best of luck in their careers. I just love them all. This is my episode of me talking about how great it is, how understandable it is, and that's it. Okay, well, that's all for this episode of The Sergio Show. I'm Sergio Dominguez.
If you really want to know voice acting, just listen to some interviews and research it on your own. It's just my thoughts, obvious thoughts. The episode's okay. It's serviceable.
Sergio Studios. The Sergio
All right,
Show.
episode
And
58.
here's your
Is
host,
this 58? Yep,
Sergio
58.
Dominguez.
Time travel episode.
Welcome, nation of animation
Is it time
lovers
travel
and
episode? Yep.
fans, to the
Time travel
Sergio
episode
Show.
to the
I'm
1960s and
the host,
70s,
Sergio
since I was on that
Dominguez.
destination.
Let's get the show started with
The original
time
version of the
travel
episode, I
and
actually
just
go
some
into
great
another anime
cartoons of
cartoon,
the
but it's not.
past. In this
It's a
episode,
cartoon that
we'll go to
exists,
2 decades of
pre-owned,
animation destination,
and
the 1960s and
it was not
1970s.
animation, but I did have to redraw the characters because this was 1960s. They used simplistic animation, so it worked. So I could just animate the characters on my own with simplistic animation. And this was also set in a time period onto itself in the 60s.
So I'm gonna have to make the best of
So
the
it was
animation
funny, and I
landmarks
thought, what
of
can I do
those
in this
two
time period?
destinations.
And wow, there's an animation error of the down mouth behind the happy mouth. I did not know that. When I do the mouth poses, you know, I have like two. I have two mouth poses: happy mouth and sad mouth. When I listen to the recordings and set up the mouth animation, I got to be sure how much time is going to be shown for the happy mouth and what time is going to be shown for the sad mouth. And I got to be sure they're not playing at the same time, because two mouths cannot be going at the same time, obviously. And here was a mistake. Wow. And I just slid across. No walking. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Yeah, of course that's editing. But yeah, that's a weird thing. Of course that got cut. But yeah, I had a fun time remaking the cartoon that he was supposed to go for the two destinations. Actually, the second one I think was just solid. It was just a solid image of the characters for the 70s and me just yelling at them. But the first one was good. First one was good. I was also doing impressions of the other two cartoon characters that I'm interacting with. And there was a nice couple of gags. Yeah, pretty standard, and it felt like a real cartoon. Of course, it just it blew it by itself. How could you not?
Oh, what, dude? Of course, I saw it coming. Well, that's all for this episode of the Sergio Show.
This one I'm used to seeing my time machines explode.
I'm Sergio Dominguez,
All for the
cartoon time
audience,
traveler
even if you
and
can't
host,
see it.
sing,
Ugh. I gotta bring back time travel episodes, but they cannot be that. I gotta think of a different purpose. If I can't, then they don't come back for the time being. I think I have a couple more decades to go, and I think I do them each by episode, so I'm getting nice and caught up. No, original form, the episode was good. That time travel episode was not bad, but yeah.
Sergio Studios.
All right, where are we? 59. Yep, clip episode, former clip episode, reviewing a animated internet series, a season of it. But instead, I talk about cartoon animals, specifically cartoon dogs. So because it is part of animation how we always see cartoon dogs. Sometimes they talk, sometimes they don't talk. But a lot of you know that, of course, of course. All of you know that. That's just how it works. But I like making these random cartoon dog drawings and just putting them over.
But once those cutesy little poochies enter the
It's like putting happy dog stickers on a old choppy VHS tape. I don't even think that's a good comparison, but that's what I thought of. That's what I thought of.
But once you bring them to the cartoon world, they have outline, they have limited detail, and they take on some traits that you wouldn't expect a live-action dog to do. Some cartoon dogs can walk all fours, some dogs walk on their two hind legs.
I remember I would review the season of this show. It was a fun show. They've heard of me, I think.
Might even like it.
Very likely.
That's usually the borderline from cartoon dogs.
Well, yep, cartoon dogs. There they are.
One interesting thing about cartoon dogs are where they live. Sure, they can live with their man.
What I've noticed later on that's been a big problem with the set of the show is how I'm so far away from the camera. You know, like in season 1, the character only took up half the screen. A good portion of the screen was like the desk, the whole rectangular desk from season 1. Like that was a thing. That was an issue I had with camera setup and like how much am I going to show. And even here, when I did the redesign of the set, I was still too far away from the camera. But you saw the whole set. You saw a desk, a piece of a desk, but it was still a little bit too much of the desk, honestly. But you also saw the other animation table desk, a lamp, and what I had. I wanted to look like it's a part talk show room, but also animation studio, you know? Just adjusting my chair, but yeah, that was the idea I was ended up going with, because if I had a set, those talk show and animation, I wanted to have animation books and like, yeah, rough model, drawing sheet, pencil sharpener, pennies, because I actually do have a collection of pennies, and a couple of notebooks and sketchbooks. So I thought it made sense. I thought it was a nice design, and it's always 3 p.m. Always 3 p.m. I like working in the afternoon. Yep. But the thing that I've made a mistake for a long time that I end up fixing later in the series is the animation peg holes. Because you see the middle is a rectangular peg and the sides are rounded. Big classic mistake. It's actually the round peg in the middle and the oval pegs on the sides. So that was a very obvious mistake. And I wouldn't figure out until later. Very later. I prefer dogs over cats. There, I said it. Even though I don't want a pet. I don't even want a pet goldfish. I'd rather have technical pets. A microphone, computer scanner. Those are my pets. Computer's my favorite pet of all. And my pet animation software, my pet editing software. Those are what I call pets. Yeah, you take good care of those, and they're helpful. And they don't poop everywhere. Poop.
Sergio Studios.
Alright.
Oh God, I really need to pee.
Season finale of season 6.
So badly.
Yeah, if I reviewed the original episodes in the original form, this would have been such a longer commentary. Yeah, it would have been like an hour and a half or so. But what is this one? Yep, song parodies and yeah, the originally song parodies, but I cut those out. I think I reused some footage from the previous episodes of season 6 because a lot of the clips I couldn't use didn't make it because it's song parodies. Why am I holding a microphone if there's no song singing at me? If I took out the song, didn't want to redo it, so I did. There was clips limited of me behind the desk, so I used some previous parts. So what is it? Talk about what's great about being a cartoon. A lot of great things, you know. I'm a human being, but I've been a cartoon numerous times, and I have some experience. I have some thoughts, worldviews, you know. And people like to turn themselves into cartoons. You know, there's a big thing online of drawing yourself as a cartoon because cartoons are awesome. You want to be that. You want to be made of outlines and solid colors. Sometimes vibrant solid colors. Sometimes effects. And I do bring up some cliches about cartoons in this one too. You don't age, or do you age? So this was a simple episode because it had to be. Song parodies, no. Even if it is about the Sergio show only, no, bye. So this is what I was dealing with. Again, dealing a lot. But season 6 was done fairly quick, fairly efficiently. We'll get to season 7, and I was season 7 during, releases of season 6. And it was like that, and it was very good. Very good, the way the show was run that way. I try to bring that kind of thing back later on, but, each season needs so much work and care that I don't think I can. I'm trying to bring that kind of concept back. I probably will, but it's going to be tough this time. A lot of work needs to be done with the series. Because as of this recording, I did 150 episodes. So I'm 50 away from 200. Oh, but I gotta bring back the system that I used to do. But I would need a lot of time and a lot of organizing and being efficient again. But could lightning strike twice for this guy? I don't know. We will see soon. Let's see. Well, let me see. What's this? Oh yeah, I think I just ran out of ideas, so I might as well just have a little piece of the music video, and because the animated music videos were just random animations, me doing stuff. Maybe some lighting effects, maybe some editing effects. That was it like very cheap because everything had to be done quick, and I think at this era I never did. I did the whole season, made the whole season, but not in order. Not episode 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sometimes it's the odd numbers first, or then next the even numbers. I try to do which one was easier first. That was also the new system of production, not to do everything in order. Even though I do these in batches, I stockpile them. But really, that was season 6. Simple season, not bad of a season. But we move on to season 7 soon. Thank you very much for listening to this commentary. I'm Sergio Dominguez, saying have an animated day.
Sergio Studios.